It seems there's another civil war on the right wing. Allie Beth Stuckey calls out Tucker Carlson for getting a little bit handsy with Islam. Let's get into it. Before we go too deep, my name is Casey. I have been a husband, father, counselor, and a conservative man for more than a decade, and I know that this country is falling into the hands of Islam, one person migrating to the country at a time. And if you're not concerned about that, I don't know what to tell you, but if you are concerned, please like, share, and subscribe so that we can fight the incursion together. Let's get into it.
Radical Islam and this big top concern about it. He says it comes from the Israeli government.
I thought it just comes from,
just our eyes and ears.
Yeah. What they do.
The things they do.
If you don't know who Allie Beth Stuckey is, she is one of the best female voices on the conservative right, and she's been accused by articles in various publications on the left of being like the MAGA Barbie, or she's sneaking in trad wifery through the back door. But in this instance, she goes on her show, which is on The Blaze, and she calls out Tucker Carlson for being a little bit maybe wrong about some of his takes regarding Islam, whether Islam is a PsyOp, and whether we should really be worried about some of the radical tendencies of this religion. Watch this.
By radical Islam. I know people who have died because of drug ODs, and then he goes on to
This is Tucker Carlson speaking.
list some other things like DEI that are affecting the country. Okay, here's my response to this. First, that's a false choice right there. That's a logical fallacy because we don't have to choose. He's presenting a choice, like we have to choose between caring about radical Islam and caring about ODs from fentanyl and DEI.
False binary.
Yeah.
It's a false binary.
Exactly. Yeah.
Both things can be true. And
in this case, Tucker Carlson, this is Allie Beth speaking for Tucker Carlson, some of his quotes on his podcast. She says that he is making a false binary between Islam and America First policy. So is Islam a threat? Yes. Is it a threat to Western values? Yes. Is it also true that there are a lot of other issues and suffering that's going on in America that may be independent of anything that Islam has to do with it? Yes. Watch this.
gays can't do stuff there.
And the Venezuelan dictator, he's probably Jewish.
He's no. You're confused. He thinks that he's a good guy because he's socially conservative, even though he's a dictator and he's a bad guy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I care about both of those things a lot because I care about people. I care about vulnerable people. So I care about both of those injustices. We can care about both, and we should. So I'm not sure why it's presented as like a necessary choice. It's not. That's a false binary. Yeah. Second, if I found out that radical Islam was just a psychological operation by the Israeli government, I would be thrilled. Like if you told me that Nigerian Christians and Ugandan Christians aren't really being kidnapped and murdered by Islamic terrorists, that Germany is actually able to celebrate Christmas publicly in safety, that France doesn't actually have to put up blockades for public events because of Muslims ramming vans into crowds, that the Middle East is actually a safe place to travel as a Christian woman, and that England hasn't been infested with Islamic child rape gangs, that 2 U.S. service members weren't just murdered in D.C. in November by a man screaming Allahu Akbar, that TSA isn't really necessary because Al-Qaeda crashed planes into the Pentagon and the Twin Towers, that none of that is real.
She went off.
Allie Beth then hilariously reviews the claim that Tucker Carlson makes on his podcast that Islam is actually a PsyOp, or the radicalness or the possible Terry behavior from Islam is actually a PsyOp of Israel. And she says she actually wishes this were true. And I couldn't agree more, because I would love it to just be one country and one nation's leadership that is causing these types of problems throughout the world. I wished not that Israel were that powerful, but that it would be that simple to stomp it out. Watch this.
Wow, that would be great news. But it's not true.
Right.
No, the real psychological operation, the real PsyOp, is always don't believe your eyes and ears. Don't notice. Focus on this secret thing over here that only I can really see and show you.
Right.
It's like when the government a couple of years ago tried to tell us that the number one source of terrorism is from right-wing white supremacists, and we're all like, what? Wouldn't I have heard about this? Like, wouldn't Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid be telling me these stories if this was something that was really happening?
Yeah.
The government was like, don't believe your eyes and ears. Don't believe what you see. It's really the secret group over here that we have secret intelligence about. It's like some kind of form of sophisticated Gnosticism. Tucker, like I said, like I think that he has been so right and right on so many things over the years, and I've really respected that. I just believe he's so wrong on this.
Allie Beth then goes into a little bit of a rant where she says that the real PsyOp is that you are seeing what you're seeing in like what happened in Australia most recently at the Bondi Beach massacre, or other instances like that, what you're actually seeing is what's true, and the biggest psyop possible is that the governments, like the government of the UK, are telling you that this isn't in fact a problem, just look the other way. That's the psyop. Watch this.
Is directly have received funds, we don't know how amount or what amount of funds, by a guy who is a Qatari.
A Muslim?
Yep.
So he's not taking money from Israel, but he's taking money from Dubai? This dude got a
Qatar's not Dubai.
No, but I'm being silly. He's got a condo in Dubai. That's crazy.
So Omid Malik's, who's a Qatari investment firm, 1789. You guys can all verify this on your own. Provided $15 million in seed funding to Tucker Carlson's media company, Last Country, in October 2023. This is around the same time when he left Fox News and started his own things. However, in June 2025, Carlson and his co-founder, Neil Patil, bought out all investors, including Malik's stakes, so the fund is no longer an owner. Okay. So this is a guy who gave him money, and apparently they had to buy their way out of it. Okay, yeah. So for him to deny that he ever received money from Malik is just a flat-out lie.
Yeah.
He's received...
Ruslan KD in this case actually digs a little bit deeper into some of the funding that came about when Tucker Carlson left Fox News. Where did he get some of his money that helped him build his brand in the Tucker Carlson network? While I do like a lot of what Tucker does, and I think he gets a lot of things right, there is no doubt by the numbers that at least in the initial phases of Tucker Carlson's new business operation, that he received $15 million from someone who's a Qatari resident and appears to be dressed in like a Sunni Muslim outfit, I believe. Watch this.
Yeah, I think Nick is someone that is astroturfed by those folks. So you see this dude, receiving a Quran around the same time that he's getting these funds. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to ascribe ill intent or whatever, but there does seem to be motive. I am ecstatic to announce that...
And then this is the time and place when I lost the most... I don't want to say I lost respect for Tucker Carlson, because I do think he's done a lot of good things. And by the way, does he look like he's on Ozempic? I don't know. Sometimes when people get older and they just lose a little bit of their fat, and I've done the same thing, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm a Midwestern mid over here. But when people get a little older and they lose some of that fat out of their face, they kind of look rough. I think Tucker, he needs to just eat a little bit more bacon. But I'm not trying to throw shade at him. I do think he's done a lot of good things, and I actually appreciate his voice in contrast to Ben Shapiro at times and some of this civil unrest that's going on the right. However, this is the time where I lost the most respect adjacent, warm feelings for him, let's put it that way. I lost that when I saw him taking a picture holding the Quran, because you would have to be willingly ignorant to actually believe that the Quran and this type of things therein is not causing some severe issues throughout the world, especially in places like the UK, where it's just not compatible. And people want to differentiate between radical Islam and Islam itself, when in reality what's written in the Quran, there's only two types of Muslims. It's either the ones who follow the Quran or the ones who don't. And the ones that we tend to think are the radicals are the ones who are actually following some of the dictates that are located within the Quran, which include, possibly doing bad things to other people that don't believe. And it justifies that, people who aren't believers in the Quran and in Muhammad are in less than human, and they can be treated with less than human status. We would be ignorant to believe that we should just go around holding hands with Islam. And as a matter of fact, Nick Fuentes does this sometimes too, where he'll meet, and listen, there's nothing wrong with meeting with and having a cup of coffee with people who believe different religions than you do, but the hand holding and the united front against liberalism that comes along with Islam is not, because they will sweep us away as soon as they can. We will be the willing idiots in that case that are going along to get along and then end up being the next on the chopping block in the end. if you don't want to be on the chopping block in the end, I would really appreciate your support for this Midwestern midwit who has risen to mid-level status in subscribers, and a great many of people who watch this channel don't subscribe, so I'd really appreciate that support, as well as the fact that I've now been monetized on the low end, so I can accept whatever kind of nonsense YouTube gifts that anyone can give. So I'm really grateful that we've gotten this far, and I'm going to take it into different places, huge things in 2026. I appreciate your support.